and begin. I pledge allegiance
to
to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. Thank you, Eric. Will the secretary please call roll?
Yes, roll call. Commissioner Alderete.
Here.
Commissioner Calderon.
Here.
Commissioner Morrissey.
Here.
Commissioner Pham.
Here.
Commissioner Ramos.
Present.
Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
Here.
And Chair McLaughlin.
Here.
You have quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I would like to invite the Commission Secretary to describe the way the public can access this virtual meeting.
Thank you, Chair. This meeting is being live streamed via our portal at www.santaheifanana.primegov.com/public/portal and to YouTube at youtube.com/City of Santa Ana videos/live. If you would like to provide a public comment, you may do so in the following ways. Join the meeting via Zoom. Enter meeting ID 938-0170-5217. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, select the hand icon to let us know that you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the name you entered, and you will have 3 minutes. You can also comment by calling 669-900-6833 and entering meeting ID 938-0170-5217. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, please press *9 to let us know that you'd like to speak. You'll be called upon by the last 3 digits of your phone number. After you are called upon, please press *6 to unmute yourself. You will have 3 minutes, and I will alert you when your time is up. Chair, back to you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Moving on to public comments on non-agenda items. Madam Secretary, does anyone wish to speak on a non-agenda item at this point in time?
If you'd like to comment on a non-agenda item, please press *9 or raise your hand by pressing the hand icon. We'll wait a couple of minutes. We do not have anyone that would like to make a comment on a non-agenda item.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. With that said, we will close the public comments for non-agenda items and we'll move on to the consent calendar. With respect to the consent calendar, is there a motion? And we only had 4 people at the last meeting. We have 4 people here that were from the last meeting. So moving to that, I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of January 22nd. Who is at the meeting? We have Ramos, Commissioner Ramos.
I'll make that motion.
She made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second it. Thank you, Miguel. Madam Secretary, can we take a roll call vote? And those that were not at the meeting, please abstain.
Okay, so I will do a roll call. If you were not, please abstain. Commissioner Alderete?
Abstain.
Commissioner Calderon?
Aye.
Commissioner Morrissey?
Abstain.
Commissioner Pham?
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos?
Abstain.
I believe you made the motion, correct?
Yeah, yes, I was just realizing that. Sorry, I was looking at agenda item number 2. So I think I have to retract my motion. I was not yet appointed.
Okay, I guess.
Council Funk, is she able to go ahead and make that motion?
Hi, good evening, council members. If the commissioner intends to abstain, it would be preferable to withdraw that motion and have the motion made by a commissioner who intends to vote on the item.
Let me, John, just one thing. We have a challenge here because my fault. I said January 22nd. The fact is that we don't have enough people to vote on the January 22nd minutes because we've changed over with people and personnel. We didn't have it at the last meeting. We had to forego voting on the minutes from the 22nd. Now we're doing, actually, in that respect, yes, Commissioner Ramos can't make the motion. She can make the motion for the February 8th meetings. So, and that's where we had 4 people. So we're stuck with the 22nd. We don't have enough people, enough commissioners that are here to vote anything above 3.
Chair McLaughlin, your point is well taken. While it is customary for those commissioners to vote on minutes taken for meetings at which they have attended, it also is possible for commissioners to review those minutes for meetings they have not attended and vote on them. The expectation is that those minutes can be reasonably relied on as an accurate portrayal or depiction of the events at the meeting. So in short, commissioners are welcome to review minutes of prior meetings and review those minutes and then vote on them. That is permissible.
Well, then let's go back to Commissioner Ramos and say, is at this point in time, have you reviewed the minutes of the 22nd meeting?
Yes.
Okay, and then therefore her motion is acceptable as far as making a motion to approve the minutes of the January 22nd.
That is correct.
Okay, so we're good there. You don't have to abstain at that point in time. She can vote in favor of that. All right, so Madam Secretary, would you continue the roll?
Yes, so I have Commissioner Ramos as an aye. Vice Chair Contreras-Leo,
I abstain.
and Chair McLaughlin.
Aye.
Okay, so motion passes by a majority vote with Commissioners Alderete, Morrissey, and Vice Chair Contreras-Leo abstaining.
Perfect. So now we move on to the minutes from the February 8th meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
A motion to approve the minutes for February 8th.
Thank you, Commissioner Bao. Do we have a second?
I'll
Miguel?
second it. Yeah, I'll
Miguel,
second
thank
it.
you. Thank you for the second. Madam Secretary, please do a roll call vote on the minutes from
Yes.
February 8th.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Alderete,
Abstain.
Commissioner Calderon,
Aye.
Commissioner Morrissey,
Abstain.
Commissioner Fan,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos,
Aye.
Vice Chair Contreras-Leo,
Abstain.
and Chair McLaughlin.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes by a majority vote with Commissioners Alderete, Morrissey, and Vice Chair Contreras-Leo abstaining.
Great, thank you, Madam Secretary. John, thank you for the insight as to how we could handle that situation. We have no absences, so we will not cover that. With that said, this is the end of the consent calendar. Moving on to public hearings. Public hearing protocol. I would like to now review the process of public hearing so that everybody knows what to expect. Staff will provide a presentation and answer questions from the commission. The public hearing will then be open. The applicant will be given the opportunity to speak, limited to 15 minutes. Members of the public will be given the opportunity to comment, limited to 3 minutes. The applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to comments made by the public, limited to 5 minutes. The public hearing will then be closed and brought back to the commission. Discussion will return to the commission with formal action taken to approve, conditionally approve, deny, or continue review of the application. Please consider the following suggestions when organizing your comments. Please state your name and address. State whether you support, oppose, or are neutral to the proposal. Your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. Avoid gossip, emotion, repetition. A clear, concise, non-repetitive argument is most effective at this time. Having said that, this is the time and place for the public hearing on item number 1 for the property located at 715 North Harbor, Unit 106. Please note that the decision on this matter is final unless appealed within 10 days of any interested individual or party. Before we begin, do any of the commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regards to this item? And we'll just go through the list and say, Commissioner Alderetti,
None.
Commissioner Balfan,
No.
Commissioner Calderon,
Nothing to disclose.
Commissioner Morrissey,
Nothing to disclose.
Commissioner Ramos,
Nothing to disclose.
Commissioner Contreras-Leo.
Nothing to disclose.
Okay, I have nothing to disclose at this point in time also. So staff, go ahead. It's your presentation.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. This item is a request by Jamie Pham for conditional use permit. She represents Cajun Crawfish Restaurant, and what is being requested is a conditional use permit for the sale of beer and wine for on-premise consumption at 715 North Harbor Boulevard, Unit 106, and the project site is actually also located within Ward 5. The subject site is located in a multi-tenant shopping center on the west side of Harbor Boulevard, as shown in red on the aerial to the right of the presentation. The nearest intersection is Harbor Boulevard and Hazard Avenue. The general plan land use destination of the property is urban neighborhood, and the subject site is located within the Harbor Mixed-Use Transit Corridor specific plan and falls within the corridor subzone. The site is surrounded by multifamily residents to the north, single-family residents to the east, and commercial uses to the south and west. The lot size is approximately 0.67 acres, and the unit measures approximately 1,158 square feet.
Commission, it's come to our attention that the PowerPoint may not be showing. We're going to look into that really quickly.
Okay. Okay.
Commissioners, are you now able to see the PowerPoint?
We can see it. I can see it. Yeah. I think we got hands up.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I can see it.
Sorry about that, Commissioners, but as mentioned, the subject site is located in a multi-tenant shopping center on the west side of Harbor Boulevard, as shown in red on the aerial to the right of the presentation. Again, the nearest intersection is Harbor Boulevard and Hazard Avenue. The property's current general plan land use destination is urban neighborhood, and the subject site is located within the Harbor Mixed-Use Transit Corridor specific plan and has a subzone of corridor. The site is surrounded by multifamily residents to the north, single-family residents to the east, and commercial uses to the south and west. The lot size is approximately 0.67 acres, and the unit measures approximately 1,158 square feet. All right, moving on to the next slide. This is a site photo of the shopping center with Cajun Crawfish located towards the center of the shopping center. It's also occupied by other similar commercial uses within that same shopping center, such as a Pizza Hut as well as a beauty salon. Moving on to the next slide. As mentioned, the restaurant is located within a 10,000 square foot multi-tenant building, which was constructed in the late 1980s. Cajun Crawfish has been operating the subject unit since 2019 of October of that year, and it specializes in Cajun seafood. The restaurant can accommodate up to 40 patrons, and the hours of operation are Monday through Sunday from noon to 10 p.m. No after hours or live entertainment permits are being requested at this time. Moving on to the next slide. To the left of the presentation is the current site plan. The unit is highlighted in red. A total of 37 parking stalls are provided through a surface lot that's located at the front of the project site. To the right of the presentation is the current floor plans of the restaurant. The storage and display of alcohol storage is highlighted in red and does not exceed the allowed maximum of 5% of the total gross floor area of the restaurant size. Moving on to the next slide. Project analysis. The sale of beer and wine at this particular area will provide an ancillary service to residents and visitors of the area and will assist the restaurant remain competitive with nearby restaurants that offer similar services. The restaurant is not located with any close proximity to sensitive land uses. As part of the conditional use permit application, the police department did review the request to sell beer and wine and does not oppose the granting of the conditional use permit for this particular restaurant. In addition to that, conditions of approval, a property maintenance agreement, and standards that are found in the Santa Ana Municipal Code will address any impacts should they arise. Moving on to the next slide. As part of the California Environmental Quality Act analysis, the project is categorically exempt per section 15301 of the CEQA guidelines, and therefore a notice of exemption will be filed for this project. The operation of a Type 41 ABC license is expected to generate additional sales tax revenue for the city and increase total wages for employees, thus aiding in economic stability for the area. There is no fiscal impact associated with this project. Moving on to the next slide. Based on this analysis, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve conditional use permit number 2021-02 as conditioned. That concludes staff presentation, and I'm here to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Jerry. We'll go down the list of commissioners. Commissioner Alderetti, do you have any questions of staff?
Sure. Yes. Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. I've got two questions. One is, do we know if Golden Star Management has operated elsewhere other than just this establishment? And I'm specifically asking about a Type 41.
No, they're not, Commissioner.
Okay, so this would be the first Type 41 for Golden Star?
Correct. Golden Star is actually the property owner of the site. The CUP is for Cajun Crawfish Restaurant.
So the owner of Cajun Crawfish is whom?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat the question, Commissioner?
Sure, I'm sorry. The owner of Cajun Crawfish is whom? What entity owns the restaurant?
Jamie Fan is the owner of the restaurant.
Okay, and do we know if Jamie, and I'll ask her this question, do we know if Jamie's operated a restaurant with the Type 41 before?
I am not sure towards that question, Commissioner.
Okay.
Well, Eric, we can pick that up in the public comments. Okay.
The next question is the condition 3, which is the restriping and the replacement of the wheel stops.
Is there any reason why that one was added?
Correct. During a site visit by staff, we noticed that there are a couple of parking stalls that do need to be restriped, as well as a couple of wheel stops that have been damaged over the years.
Okay, so this would
The standard practice.
Go ahead.
Standard practice when we review conditional use permits such as this request, we do inspections to ensure that the facility is in compliance with our code requirements. If not, this is the time through this process where we request some additional improvements for the site.
Okay, so last question on this point is the owner of the restaurant compelled to get the property owner to make that change to the property maintenance agreement?
Correct, and I did speak to the business owner regarding this, and she had no questions regarding those conditions.
Okay.
All right, Eric?
I'm done, thanks.
Okay, Commissioner Morrissey.
No, I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Balfan.
Thank you, Chair. I have a few questions in regards to the presentation. I believe that the tenant prior to Cajun Crawfish was also a restaurant. Do we know if an ABC license was requested by the previous tenant as well?
Commissioner Fab, no ABC license has been requested for this particular property. This is the first request we received.
And then on the resolution that was drafted, I understand that the operation hours of the restaurant is between noon and 12. Is it correct that the alcohol license, the ABC license, would be applicable between noon and 10 p.m. only, and not noon to 12?
Commissioner Pham, the way we drafted the resolution does allow flexibility for the applicant to decide expand their hours to up to midnight. Anything over midnight does require approval of a conditional use permit for after hours by this body.
And lastly, I drove past the site because I've taken the area a few times, but there seems to be a patio set up adjacent to the tenant space. And I just want to be clear that the ABC license that we're discussing now only applies to on-premise consumption, and it will not apply to any outdoor dining. Is that correct?
Commissioner Pham, that is correct. I just want to clarify that the patio that you did notice is a temporary patio that has been permitted as part of the COVID services that the city has allowed applicants to basically construct temporary outdoor dining.
Right, and so the CUP won't be applicable to any alcohol usage in the patio, right?
Jerry?
Commissioner Pham, it's a yes and no kind of answer. This particular CUP that you're reviewing right now is just for on-premises and not for the outdoor dining. However, ABC has passed laws temporarily that do allow businesses to serve alcohol outside as part of some COVID relief regulations that they have passed. So after COVID, this particular property will not be allowed to have the outdoor dining or the sale of alcohol consumption for outdoor dining.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fan. One comment, Commissioner Fan mentioned, Jerry, that the hours of operation were 12 p.m. noon to 12 p.m. Midnight, and yet in the documentation it says 10 p.m. So it's 12 to 10, is it not at this point in time?
That is correct, Chairman.
Okay. All right. Moving on, Commissioner Ramos.
Hi, I just I have one question on the staff presentation, the slide titled CEQA Economic and Fiscal Impact. The second bullet point states that this Type 41 ABC license is expected to generate additional tax revenue for the city and increase total wages for employees. So I just have a question on that specific part, the increasing total wages for employees. Has the owner or restaurant operator made any comments about increasing employee wages as a result of getting this license?
Chairman Ramos, the owner did not comment regarding that, but she is available at this meeting, so she could answer those questions for you.
Okay, I'll ask that question to the owner. And then my second question is just for city staff on how, why that statement was included. Is that typical to include in a staff report for this type of license? Or is there a reason why staff believes that the total wages will increase for employees?
That is something that staff is expecting from as part of this application. So normally when you do have a business that operates with an alcohol sales, you do tend to see some additional revenues as part of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner, Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
No questions, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Commissioner Ramos's comment on the increased wages. You know, it can be interpreted in two different ways as far as I'm concerned. One could be interpreted as more hours per employee or more employees working in the facility, but it also can imply increased wages as in hour salary or dollars per hour. And I don't believe, well, we need to talk to the applicant to understand what that really means from their perspective as increased total wages. So I just wanted to reiterate that there's a loose interpretation of increased total wages.
Chairman, it's also an increase in actual tips as well.
I get that. I get that. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions or comments of staff at this point in time? Okay, hearing none, we will open the public hearing at this point in time. Would the applicant like to speak on this matter?
Well, we're going to go ahead and make sure she's unmuted.
Okay.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Jamie?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Would you introduce yourself, Jamie?
Oh, hi. Hi, my name is Jamie Pham, and I'm the owner of Cajun Crawfish.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready for your questions.
Okay, you don't want to present anything or talk, you just would like to go into the questions right away?
Oh yes. As for the license, we do need it for us in order for the business to grow, is because there's so many restaurants around us that serving the same type of food, and we had customers coming and they left our place just because we didn't have any like alcohol to serve them.
Okay.
So therefore, that's the reason why I'm submitting this application.
All right. Thank you very much. With that, I'll ask Commissioner Alderetti, do you have any questions of the applicant?
I think so. Ms. Pham, in the earlier questions I asked, but I think I know the answer. I had asked if you had secured a Type 41 before. I think the answer to that is no.
Yes, this will be the first time I'm submitting the application.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Balfan.
No questions at the moment.
Commissioner Calderon.
No questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Morrissey.
No further questions. Thanks.
Okay, Commissioner Ramos.
Hi, just one question regarding the slide that is being showed. do you, as the restaurant owner, expect that there will be an increase in wages for your employees as a result of this license if it's issued tonight? And can you explain how that increase would be generated?
Well, to start off, in order to for us to have this license, it's gonna attract more customer during weekdays. Currently, the customer that are coming to the restaurants are only coming from weekends. So for us to have this license, it's gonna attract more locals that comes on weekdays, which means that we're able to open longer hours. Because at the moment, we're not even open from noon to 10. We're open at limited only for dinner time. We're not even serving lunch at the moment because we're unable to have any customers during those time. And with that, it's going to provide more hours for our employees. And then it's also going to bring in more customers in which they will tip more and purchase more food in result of this, hoping this license will do that for us.
Thank you for the thorough explanation.
Okay, Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
No questions.
Okay. I do not have any questions at this point in time. Madam Secretary, is any of the members of the public, would they like to comment at this point in time?
If you'd like to comment on this matter, please press the hand icon or *9 if you're calling in to let us know that you'd like to speak. We'll wait 30 seconds.
Okay, hearing none at this point in time. One more item I'd like to cover is did we receive any comments or questions with regards to the applicant? Comments or letters from anybody? Madam Secretary?
Chair, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Have we received any written communication at this point in time?
We have not received any written correspondence on this item.
And we have no one that wants to speak on this item at this point in time?
And no callers.
Okay, with that said, the public hearing is now closed. We'll bring it back to the commission to have final questions, and we'll move on for approval. Commissioner Alderetti, do you have any comments, or would you want to make a motion? Or
yeah, I have just a couple of comments. I think the Commissioner Ramos brought up the increased total wages for employees, and I think that's disingenuous to include that. I don't think we know, and I don't think that should bear on this applicant's request for a CUP. But I think that oftentimes in the restaurant industry, a liquor license is generally pure profit for the owner. And I only know this because I've been in the restaurant industry for a long time. I don't know how much of that trickles down to the employees, but I suspect it's speculative at best. So I think that's kind of a false narrative to give for why we would grant a license. I would also say that we just have to be aware that the CUP runs with the land, so that if this property owner sells this, if this business owner sells this business, they get the license. The next business owner gets the license. And that's why I generally like to see somebody that has a track record. But I understand that these are difficult times and restaurants are struggling across the city and throughout the state. And so I'd be inclined to grant license.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Alderete. Commissioner Balfan, any comments?
No comment. Thank you. Sorry, I think I was on mute. No comments at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Morrissey.
Yeah, I would agree with Commissioner Alderete that yeah, in these difficult times, I think it's important to grant this license just because of the difficulty that restaurants are having. So I'd be in favor of it.
Commissioner Ramos.
No additional comments on the item, but I do want to echo Commissioner Alderete's comments. I specifically asked that question because as a member, as a resident, as a member of the public, if you're reading the staff report and you see that statement, it can be very misleading. It did, in some ways, lead me to believe that maybe there was an agreement with the restaurant owner, which we later learned that there isn't a specific agreement to increase wages as a result of this issuance if it is given. So I would just like to ask staff to not include statements of that sort if there is no guarantee that there will be an increase in wages for employees, or unless we see like specific language in a resolution where that the owner has agreed to.
Okay, thank you. Good point. Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
Yes, the question to staff along the same lines. Is this typically common language that is used in the staff reports?
Min, would you like to comment on
Vice Chair, this is Min Tai. No, it's not. I believe this was put into the report and presentation as informational item only. It does not and should not have any bearing on a land use decision.
Also, I just want to comment and just say that I have not seen this type of verbiage in any of the recent CUPs that we've done for the last 2 or 3 years. I've not seen us put in any kind of verbiage that talks about higher wages or things of that nature. So it seems to me it's the first time in a long time we've seen something like this. So anyway, having said that, go ahead, Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
Well, I think it's just something that we perhaps may want to make a note to council to also make a comment on how they feel that language being in there. If there's no real expectation, why give a false looking one? So just something to clean up.
Sure.
I agree. And I'll work with the staff to ensure that only relevant information are included in our presentation.
Thank you, Min.
Thank you.
I have no further comments. Would anyone like to make a motion at this point in time on this item?
You know, this is Commissioner Alderete. I'll make a motion that we approve CUP number 2021-02 as conditioned.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
Second from Vice Chair Contreras-Leo. Does anyone like to, is there anyone that would like to comment further on this item? Hearing none. Madam Secretary, will you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, roll call vote. Commissioner Alderete.
Aye.
Commissioner Calderon.
Aye.
Commissioner Morrissey.
Aye.
Commissioner Pham.
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos.
Aye.
Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
Aye.
And Chair McLaughlin.
Aye.
Motion passes by unanimous consent.
Thank you, and thank you to the applicant. And as I think it was said, you're taking this on with some great challenges at this point in time. Best of luck with you. Okay. With that said, excuse me?
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right. This is the time and place for public hearing on item number 2 for the property located at 3503 South Harbor Boulevard. Please note, decision on this matter is final unless appealed within 10 days by any interested individual or party. Before we get going, do any of the commissioners have anything they wish to disclose regarding this item? Commissioner Alderetti?
I do not.
Commissioner Balfam?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Calderon?
Nothing to disclose?
Commissioner Morrissey?
Nothing to disclose.
Commissioner Ramos?
Nothing to disclose.
Vice Chair Contreras-Leo?
I do not.
I don't have anything to disclose either at this point in time. At this point, Pedro, you will provide us with a presentation on this item.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. The next item on tonight's agenda is a request for the approval of conditional use permit 2020-22 to replace a previous conditional use permit and to allow the expansion of the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-premise consumption in conjunction with an existing concert facility known as the Observatory. The subject site is addressed as 3503 South Harbor Boulevard, and it's located at the northeast intersection of Harbor Boulevard and Lake Center Drive. The general plan designation is professional and administrative office, and the zoning designation is professional. The site is primarily surrounded by professional and medical offices. The next slide provides a view of the existing site photos. The first photo is of the exterior front elevation, while the second photo shows an outdoor patio area. The site is currently developed with 2 buildings, one medical office building immediately adjacent to Harbor, and the second building further towards the east or the rear of the property. The second building is approximately 25,200 square feet in size and has been operating as the Observatory since 2011. In October 1994, conditional use permit number 1994-16 was approved to allow an indoor concert and dinner facility and a Type 47 ABC license. The venue operated as Galaxy Concert Theater until October 2011, when the venue changed names to the Observatory. In 2019, the Observatory finalized work on a new 2,200 square foot patio area located on the south side of the building. When operating, the venue will continue to serve food and drinks Monday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. The sale and service and consumption of alcoholic beverages is proposed between the hours of 8 a.m. and 2 a.m. Monday through Sunday. The next slide provides the floor plan and the site plan for the observatory. The area highlighted in red is the new patio area completed in 2019. As proposed, all alcoholic beverages will be stored within the restaurant's cooler and service counter area, which will be less than 200 square feet in size. Both the storage and display area will make up less than 5% of the total restaurant's floor area as required by the Santa Ana Municipal Code. Staff has determined that the proposed request will benefit the community, will not be detrimental to the health, safety, or general welfare, and will be in compliance with all applicable regulations and operational standards imposed on locations selling alcoholic beverages for on-premises consumption. Furthermore, the police department is satisfied that the operational standards applicable to on-premise ABC licenses will mitigate any potential impacts to the surrounding community and therefore does not oppose the granting of this CUP. Lastly, the project is exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA. In addition, the proposed expansion is expected to generate additional sales tax revenue for the city by encouraging more food consumption, which will increase wages and tips paid to employees, aiding in the economic stability of this area. And just for the Planning Commissioner's reference, this direct language was provided to this specific application by the applicant themselves. The Planning Commission has specific questions directed to this language, we do have members of Live Nation on the call tonight. Staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve conditional use permit number 2020-22 as conditioned. That concludes staff's presentation. I am available for questions at this time. And as previously mentioned, members of the Live Nation group are here to answer any of the Planning Commission's questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro. Commissioner Alderetti, do you have any questions of staff?
Yes, I just want to make sure I understand the relationship between Live Nation and the operator. So is Live Nation operating the venue? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Then who? Okay, so then is the owner getting the liquor license, the Type 27?
Correct, for this location, yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Alderetti. Commissioner Belfan.
Thank you, Chair. I would like some clarification on the renewal of the ABC license. Is it the case that the CUP 1994 has expired and this new CUP will cover granting the ABC license to both the indoor dining as well as the patio?
Thank you, Commissioner. No, that's not the case. CUP 1994-16 has not expired. The request is really to expand on what was previously approved in 1994. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the approval did not include any outdoor operations at that time. So a cleaner method of processing these applications is to issue a new conditional use permit application that encompasses the original approval of 1994 and also expands on the allowed Type 47 consumption, which will include outdoors. One of the conditions of approval that you'll see on this application is that all of the conditions of the 1994 application are included as having to be adhered to. So essentially, this is just issuing a new one, replacing 1994 with the expanded condition of allowing outdoor consumption and sales as well.
Thank you. And I noticed that in the staff report, it was noted that the site was noted to generate some previous noise concern in the last 3 years. And from my understanding, from the previous CUP, some of the methods to kind of abate noise pollution was that the interior, when there are events, doors were kept closed to keep noise pollution at bay. How do we plan to address kind of issues of noise when we expand the usage of distribution of alcohol into the patio?
Thank you, Commissioner. In addition to a couple of conditions of approval that require the operator to adhere to the city's noise ordinance, we've included two specific conditions that are going to address that concern. Condition number 5 states that live entertainment or amplified music performance should not be permitted with any of the outdoor patio areas. The exception would be musical performances limited to acoustical music only. Staff felt that there wasn't a need to have any sort of amplified speaker music or entertainment at the outdoor patio because that really isn't the intention of the outdoor patio area. However, the operator does want to provide ambient music to guests and patrons who want to eat in the outdoor area. So acoustical music that's not amplified would be in keeping with the noise standards. And then if there are some speakers in the patio area that are kind of providing ambient music, those would be within keeping of the noise ordinance. Condition number 6 has a requirement that we would come back and review this conditional use permit approval with 1 year of its adoption date. And that's to ensure that there's no noticeable increase in the calls for police departments or code enforcement related to any complaints to the community. And most of those would include noise if there are any noise concerns. So really with those incorporation of those two noise standards, staff feels comfortable that we are mitigating that potential noise concerns.
Understood. Thank you. No further comment.
Okay, Commissioner Calderon.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Morrissey.
Yeah, I just had one question. The permit is for on-site premises consumption only, or is it, does it allow take home?
Thank you, Commissioner. No, the approval for what this conditional use permit is allowing would be for on-premises only, indoor and outdoor. I'm not entirely sure what ABC code temporary requirements there are in place. I have heard that there are situations where they've allowed restaurants to sell alcohols for take home. That may be applicable to this situation as well, but again, as was the previous case for the last application, it would be temporary only until ABC license renews, I guess, their requirements once COVID is over.
Okay, thank you.
All set, Commissioner Morrissey?
Yeah, no further questions. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Ramos.
No questions at this time.
Okay, Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
Yeah, I'm actually curious, the complaints that were made, who were they made by? Because that place is pretty isolated from neighborhoods. So I'd be curious when it's that late, where the complaints are coming from.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, the last complaints that we have record of were maybe about two or 3 years ago. And from my understanding, they generated from our special event licenses, like it's called the land use certificate. The venue sometimes requests special events or outdoor concerts, which is allowed by our municipal code up to 6 times per year. And in those instances, we have had the city of Costa Mesa reach out to our staff about some potential noise concerns. There are neighborhoods not immediately adjacent, but when you have this outdoor kind of amplified music, some of that noise does tend to carry. So our staff report does make a note that in those instances, we do have standards in our code that limit the hours of operations for the special events and ensures that the operators are in compliance with all noise ordinance requirements.
Okay. I'm still trying to imagine that, but because I mean, I've been there, and you've got Kaiser, you've got industrial, you've got both sides of the street, all industrial. I don't even know where the first home would be, but okay, that's curious. Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I have one area of clarification. It was stated earlier in this courtyard where there's going to be food and drink. It appears there's going to be some level of entertainment. And if so, I didn't see anything about applying for an entertainment permit at this point in time in the documentation.
Thank you, Commissioner or Chairman. No, that's true. This being a concert venue, I'm not sure if that would apply. I'd have to get back to you on that. My initial reaction is no, it wouldn't. But we are cognizant of the fact that because it is a request for now outdoor consumption, the operator might have a desire to kind of bleed out the entertainment into the area. So we want to be mindful of that and only limit it to, as previously mentioned, acoustical music or, music that's ambient, and not necessarily have musical performances who are normally within the inside of the observatory come outside.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. I think it's sort of clear that the venue inside the concert hall is not going to be outside. But if there's going to be any kind of entertainment, music, or anything of that nature in the outdoor area, we have requirements with regards to entertainment permits that are issued by PD. And I'm just want to make clarification that, if there's a condition to approve this, that there be a condition that, an entertainment permit be sought by the applicant at this point in time?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, if the consensus after our review of the code is that they would be subject to an entertainment permit, then we would apply the code requirements to have them go through the appropriate entertainment permit process.
Okay, is there any reason why this was not included in the presentation at this point in time, Pedro?
Yes, because this is a concert facility, so the thinking was that it's not a use that's really too obscure from what we normally would request those entertainment permits for. So normally we have restaurants who are wanting to do entertainment. And so those would go through the appropriate entertainment permit process. This conditional use permit that was issued in 1994 was for a concert facility and restaurant. So the thinking was that the music associated with any potential outdoor music events such as acoustical would be in keeping with that use.
Okay, I'd like to make sure we have clarification on that from a permitting perspective. Okay. Are there any other questions of staff at this point in time?
I have one question. So Mark, you brought up the point about the entertainment permit. So does that come back to us or is that administrative?
No, the entertainment permit is one that this facility, as Pedro mentioned, the original CUP is for a concert venue and a dinner house. And the staff's thinking was, and we believe that the expansion of the CUP to the outside encompass all of the approval and all of the conditions of the prior CUP. So it has, if historically we have not required an entertainment permit, it shouldn't be something that's required here, as this is simply taking what they currently do to the outside to a lesser extent. There is no amplified sound except for ambient music as part of the atmosphere.
But it's my understanding, Min, that even if it's ambient music, if it is music that is being live or piped in, so to speak, it still would require a level of permit.
Right. Only if the facility doesn't have the approval. Historically, this one has the approval for entertainment as an entertainment venue.
Okay, can we clarify that?
We would certainly do. But
Okay.
it does not require going back to planning commission.
Okay, that's fair enough on that one. Okay, Madam Secretary, have we received any comments or written communication at this point in time on this item?
Chair, we have not received any written communication on this item.
Okay, with that, we'll open up the public hearing. And does the applicant, would the applicant like to speak at this point on this matter?
Yeah, hi. Can you guys hear me?
Sure. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Certainly. Good evening. My name is Steve Rawlings, and I am a third-party consultant to the Live Nation Group. I assist them with licenses and permits necessary for the sale of alcohol. Joining me this evening is a whole host of folks. We have Ryan Blank, who is the general manager of the location. We have Elizabeth Cruz, who is the Vice President of Legal Affairs. We have Sean Hetkemper, who is the Vice President of Operations. And also joining us is Eric Berghammer, who is an Executive Vice President with Live Nation Corporate. So we brought a team of folks to facilitating answering operational questions and questions about Live Nation if you have. I just wanted to make a couple of quick comments based on some of the questions that we had. We've worked extensively with staff. I know that we had a meeting with Min out at the site. We gave them a tour of the entire facility. A lot of folks that live in Santa Ana haven't had an opportunity to see the facility in some time. So we had a nice tour and meeting with Min and explain the details of what we would like to do now. Live Nation, one point that I'd like to make is that Live Nation took over management of this facility within the last year and a half. And since that time, they have spent some money to improve the facilities. And one of those improvements was to activate this particular patio. It's nice, obviously, to be able to provide some outdoor environment for people. If you're in between the acts, it's nice to be able to walk outside, get a breath of fresh air. Also, we do have a full menu of food, and a lot of people like to come to the venue early, get something to eat, as well as something to drink, and then go in and see their show. So the idea behind the patio expansion was just simply to provide a place for people to, gather before the concert and be able to enjoy a little bit of food and beverage. Our intention with this was to simply make an amendment to the existing CUP. The existing CUP authorizes this to be a concert venue, and with various amenities such as the ability to serve food and alcohol. And this was intended to just be an additional amenity to the guests that are already coming here, which would simply be that they could be able to also have an alcoholic beverage there. The request for live entertainment has really simply just been that, just like at a lot of restaurants and other places, it is nice to possibly have a guitar player there singing. That's not to say we intend to have somebody out there at all times. It's just that we would like the flexibility to be able to do that, because also this space, we wouldn't mind if we could, possibly be able to, have this for a private party that's a little separate from the concert that's going on. And it would be nice to be able to provide an entertainment. And again, we discussed at length the noise ordinance. We discussed at length the complaints that were received a while back, and it was before Live Nation took over management of the facility, and it had to do with an outdoor type of concert or festival. And it does certainly seem like the music was a bit loud for the outside there. But as far as we know, we haven't had any complaints about noise since Live Nation has taken it over, or for that matter, really when the concerts are just indoors there. So I just wanted to kind of clarify, that, hey, Live Nation is relatively new. They're investing in your community heavily, and they would just like to add to the ambiance of this particular facility. And also, it's worth pointing out too that Live Nation has a very, very wide reach in terms of being able to market acts as well as market facilities. And they are able to attract people from all over Southern California to come into Santa Ana and enjoy this fabulous venue that I feel like is a great asset to your community, because again, it gets people to come to your community, spend their dollars in Santa Ana. And we would and we're just here this evening to try to enhance the experience for the visitors and our customers. So with that, I touched on a couple of things there. We do concur with the staff recommendation. We did have one minor modification that we would like to propose to condition number 5. And I think it's been discussed already that this is intended to be kind of just an acoustic only type of thing. And we would just like to, delete the word entertainment and just have it read slightly differently, where it just says that, hey, no acoustic, and I'm looking for the language, I'm sorry. Where it would say live amplified musical performances shall not be permitted within any outdoor patio areas. Musical performances is limited to music only. And as I mentioned before, we discussed the noise issue extensively with both Pedro as well as Min, and I think that they feel comfortable that we have a clear understanding of what they're looking for, and this would just kind of clear up a little bit of the language there. Also, too, if you please note on the photo, we have really high walls around this particular facility. I want to say that they're over 10, they might be 12 feet high, and they are solid walls there. So there's not much of an opportunity for sound escaping. And so, with that, I think that, the staff report is accurate, and that I think that Live Nation has proven itself that it'll be a very good neighbor and a good operator. So, with that, we're open for questions, and thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Steve. Commissioner Alderetti, do you have any questions of the applicant? Commissioner Alderetti?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. The applicant asked about conditional use number or the condition of approval number 5. And I didn't quite catch it because at the last sentence of that condition is musical performances are limited to acoustic music only. Is that not sufficient?
I think it's just that we were looking for some clarification. It says live entertainment or amplified musical performance shall not be permitted.
Oh, I get you.
And of course, we are saying, yes, we intend to have live music. It's just that we know that nobody wants it amplified.
Got it. I got it. Thank you for that.
So it would just be cross out the word entertainment or in the first sentence, and that's it.
Got it. Yeah, that seems reasonable. The other question I have is, so in the staff report, it says that another commissioner brought this up earlier, Commissioner Ramos. It says the expansion will increase the total wages and tips paid to employees. Can you explain to me how that is the case?
Certainly, and Ryan can jump in on this as well too, but by activating this particular patio area for food and beverage service, we are certainly intending that our food as well as beverage sales will be increased, because before Live Nation took it over, there was no place to really congregate and eat. By creating a facility there, we honestly believe that we're going to drive a lot more food and beverage sales, which of course, a lot of these folks are a lot of the guests do tip, sometimes very handsomely, and through the increase in sales, we're very confident that all of our employees will be making certainly more money than previous. And Ryan, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I think the other important thing is that this is an area that that we'll be able to staff additional people. So we'll be able to increase the amount of hours for employees that maybe we wouldn't have had a need before for servers and marketers and things like that.
So then the increase is coming through patrons and then through more hours for the employees.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Balfan.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to ask a few questions in regards to measures in place to control control how alcohol leaves and stays on premise. I know that it's a lot easier to control when it's inside the venue, but once you start introducing it to the outdoor patio, or can you just walk me through kind of certain measures that are going to be put in place to make sure that people aren't leaving the premise with open containers, and also because the CUP has the operation hours to 2 p.m. or sorry, to 2 a.m. in the morning, if that's a consideration.
Well, I can speak operationally. Even though this is an outdoor space, it's fully enclosed. So it's 10-foot high walls, and there's not really an opportunity like on maybe a traditional patio type area where the guests could just walk off. We have security staffed at every single exit in the building for a variety of reasons, but to make sure people can't come in from the outside that aren't supposed to be in the event of an emergency, and to control alcohol. So throughout the events we have, and at the end of the show, we have security that's there and additional staff to make sure that anybody that still might have a cup of any kind, we don't allow any cups regardless of if it's alcohol or not out of the building. And we have trash cans available before they exit the premises to dispose of it.
Maybe we could also show the photo again. I don't know if you would like to see a photo of the outdoor premises.
Right. I have the photo of the patio, and
Okay.
I see there's an exit door with hardware on it. I was just my thought is I've been to different venues where they do have a secure entry and exit protocol, but then there are people that are allowed to exit and then re-enter, whether it be via a ban or whatnot. And my only concern is, I don't want people to be to consume alcohol late at night, then exit towards the parking lot and congregate and then somehow go back in for more beverages.
If I could answer a little bit of that, if you don't mind, Ryan. Sorry to step on you. So we go through an extensive training quarterly on compliance and safety. It's a Live Nation policy across all of our venues, large and small. We have a no in and outs policy for the safety of our guests. So you won't see folks coming and going in Live Nation venues typically. The door that you're referring to will not be an exit. It will be an emergency exit, but it will not be an exit for people to leave at their will. We will staff that regardless, and everybody will be wristband. And we take the patrolling of the perimeter very seriously due to all sorts of security concerns we have, including open container, but also some other heightened security concerns that we take very seriously. And we have perimeter security at all times. So we've done this very thing in every one of our venues where we have an outdoor area for people to get fresh air. This is actually going to enhance our ability to control anybody who wants to leave after they've gone out to get fresh air. At this time, this is the safest possible area for us to have people come outside, get fresh air, enjoy themselves without going out of the venue altogether.
Thank you. And one last question. Just from the description of the use in the patio, it sounds to me like there won't be kind of much activity. It's more of a spill out space when there are live events inside. Do you foresee this space being used as kind of like if there are kind of entertainment on site there's in the patio, it being kind of its separate, like again, I've been to venues where the outdoor patio becomes, there's a dance floor, there's music, not loud music, but there's music, there's dancing, right. There's a lot of chatter on the patio. Do you foresee that as the case as well?
The intent of this space is twofold, really. One is when you arrive early or throughout the time you spend in the venue to see a show, that you can dine outside. We're already permitted for occupancy there as it is. And so we can serve food into that area now. That window there leads directly into our restaurant. The door next to the window would take you right by the restaurant. So folks can come and use that space before a show, during a show, to dine and get some space and fresh air. It will also be used for people who, during a show, would like to go outside and get some space, some fresh air. Obviously, California, Orange County, we have incredible weather. So this is going to be an all year round experience for people to go outside and enjoy themselves and get out of the way from the inside of the venue and get themselves some space to just enjoy the evening. But not a entertainment zone or dance floor, just really an expansion of our food and beverage program and an opportunity for people to have a safe space to go get fresh air.
Understood. Thank you.
Also, if I could just add one other thing about the security there, as Ryan had mentioned, Live Nation posts a security guard at every exit whenever there's a concert going on there. But there are, in addition to that, Live Nation contracts with the Santa Ana Police Department. And the Santa Ana Police Department has 2 members, uniformed officers that are in the parking lot during our events as an added measure of security. And then internally, we would have approximately 25 Live Nation employees whose sole task it is to act as security personnel there, and they are trained as such. So I think that this venue has a super high level of security, you know, and I think that we've done an excellent job of controlling any issues there.
Thank you for the comment.
Okay, thank you, Bao. Commissioner Calderon, any questions of the applicant?
The only question I have is just what's the maximum capacity for the outdoor area? I missed that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of look through my notes to see if I have that information off the top of my head.
Okay.
The occupant load for the area is 147.
147 for the outdoor area?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
No further questions. Thank you.
Okay, great, Commissioner Calderon. Commissioner Morrissey.
Yes, just one question regarding to the occupant load. Is that generating any additional parking, or is that outdoor area only going to serve people inside the venue?
To my understanding, and I don't want to speak out of turn if you want to come in, Ryan, but there's no additional increase in overall capacity to the venue. It is the capacity of the venue stays the same. It's just that particular area has that occupancy load.
Yeah, the assembly occupancy is the same because the intention of this space is as an add-on and just an additional space for patrons that are in the building already to go to. It's not intended as a separately programmed space.
Okay.
And that was weird when this space was permitted in December of 2018.
Okay,
so I guess the questions for staff as well was that how is the parking calculated?
Min?
Pedro, are you on the line?
I'm still on the line. Thank you, Commissioner. As I understand it, the parking is a shared parking on the site between both buildings. It usually isn't a problem because of the hours of operations. Typically, when there's events at the observatory, the medical offices are no longer in operation for that day. And so it's kind of a all site for the observatory at that point. At this point, I don't know what the exact parking ratio is. I definitely could find that out for you. But as the operators mentioned, the intention of the outdoor patio is really meant to be ancillary and not a separate programmed use. So the parking shouldn't be affected through this action.
I guess, so is the number of patrons, is there a limit to the number of patrons on the permit?
Commissioner, could you clarify which permit you're talking about?
The conditional use permit?
This specific conditional use permit isn't providing any sort of limit, per se, on the parking. It's really more geared towards allowing that additional option for outdoor dining. All the other operations already remain the same, including any sort of parking that's in place as part of the conditional use permit from 1994.
Commissioner Morrissey?
So was there any, in 1994, any, I guess, any limit on a number of patrons?
Thank you, Commissioner. I don't have an exact answer for you at this point. I know through if I understand your question, I know that the building code requirements, there are maximum occupancy requirement or allowances per the overall building. So maybe that answers your question, but I don't know the exact number of how many occupants are allowed to be in this building in any one given time.
Well, I guess I'm concerned about an event where that both areas would be filled with people for whatever reason. I don't know what kind of event that might be, but then that would cause potentially a parking issue, people not having a place to park. And
if I can speak again, and maybe I don't intend to. I'm not trying to repeat myself if I've already made this point. The capacity of the building will remain the same. It's just that this particular area, we've actually got occupancy now as it stands. We want to be able to, with this action, allow folks to bring their drinks outside because it's a safe and secure area. It's for the current occupancy now, not an expansion of occupancy. And the area in which they're going is the number that we just provided. I think that was 140 plus. So no more than 140 people could be in that area at any time of the already given capacity that we have in the music hall.
Ryan, do you happen to know the current occupancy of the musical hall right now, as permitted by the city?
Yes, the first floor of the main music hall is 913, and the second floor of that area is 349. And then there's an additional assembly area in the building that has an occupancy of 212. And so those are the three spaces that we, sell tickets to. And those same people are the ones that would be going into our lobby area and onto the patio area and any other areas around the building, the people within those assembly spaces.
So I think in order to satisfy the commission's concern regarding would this add any occupancy load to the site and require additional parking incrementally from where it is currently now, we could craft a condition basically state that the additional area would not add to the total current occupancy load of the site as currently permitted by the city based on this, the building current issue occupancy for the building now. So that way it can assure the commission that this additional area would not create additional occupancy for the total site.
yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, Thomas, good. Commissioner Morrissey, any other questions?
No other questions. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Ramos.
I just want to go to a point that was raised earlier by myself and Commissioner Alderete. And I'm just going to read the statement that staff said was provided to them by the applicant. So my question would be for, I believe, the general manager of the observatory. But it's about the increasing total wages for employees, thus aiding in economic stability in the area. So I know the applicant already commented on this a little bit, but I'm wondering if there is a plan to increase hourly wages or salaries for employees as a result of the increased business the issuance of this license might bring. So I'm wondering if there's any plan to increase wages that does not include tips or extending hours for employees.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to increase the hourly wage. It's possible as we see the success of this, but it will certainly add additional hours to existing staff and to new staff that we'll need to hire to accommodate pre-show dining, post-show dining during the events. If we're able to attract more of our guests that are enjoying the show to go grab a bite to eat, we'll need additional servers, we'll need additional bussers, we'll need additional bartenders, additional barbacks, and that will all be additional hours that we're necessarily currently have with how we have it right now. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, thank you. And to the part that states aiding economic stability, I just want to ask a little bit more about that, and how does Live Nation and the Observatory aid the economic stability of Santa Ana? Do you all prioritize hiring Santa Ana residents, or are there any other practices that you all currently have that we should be aware of?
I could speak to that in general terms as the operations manager and vice president of operations for the region and supporting Ryan. We do hire locally. And as Steve had mentioned earlier, some of what is being referenced in that statement is the world-class sort of level that the observatory is. Major artists have been broken in that venue and continue to be and will be, bringing people in from the region to hopefully partake in hotels in the area and spending their money in other parts of Santa Ana. We're very proud to be there. It's in my portfolio. I'm extremely impressed with the venue and the staff that are local and what we've accomplished there to become a marquee venue in Orange County and in California. Again, bringing in top names and bringing in tourists and people traveling from all over Southern California to spend their money in Santa Ana.
Okay, and just to confirm, the venue, the observatory does prioritize the hiring of local Santa Ana residents?
Yes, we are always trying to hire people who live in the area as a matter of practice at all of our venues. Live Nation at the clubs and theaters level, we don't see ourselves as a sort of large monolithic corporation, but we take great pride in our local venues and our local neighborhoods. And we absolutely prioritize hiring locally.
Thank you.
Mr. Ramos, any other questions?
Not at this time.
Okay, Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
Thank you. Is this Live Nation that managed the Irvine Amphitheater?
Correct, with 5 Points now, but you're referring to the Verizon Amphitheater?
Correct. Was that you that managed that facility?
That is our company. The folks on this call we're not managing, but yes, our amphitheater division is the group of individuals that has managed that and the 5 Points amphitheater as well.
And I only bring that up because, one, I thank you for investing in our city, and two, I have the utmost confidence in that you guys will do a really good job of running the place and bringing premier artists to our city. My son used to work for your company, and I saw the training you guys put into your staff, the personal touches to make sure staff's okay, and the investment that you have in community. So I'm really excited to see what you guys do. And in regards to parking, I've used the facility before there, and there's plenty of parking, and that I don't foresee that being an issue. But I'm excited you guys are now managing there, and thank you again for investing in the city.
Thank you, Vice Chair Contreras-Leo. I just have a couple of questions and a little clarification. Listening to the numbers that were presented, first level, second level assembly, it appeared that a little short of 1,500 people can be in the hall at any given time. I came up with 1,474 individuals. The 140 we've already discussed is part of that 1,474. It's not in addition. So essentially, the venue is for approximately 1,500, participants at any given time. My question is, that's for a normal event to happen. There is not going to be any restaurant type events occurring without a venue? That's my first question. And my second question is that if somebody wants to rent the facility, I'm assuming that the limitation is going to be 140 people because they wouldn't be going inside, or would they be going inside if they were going to rent the facility? And if so, what's the capacity on that?
Chair, this is
So
Min.
again, go ahead, sorry.
This is Mintai, and the answer to your first question is yes. The 147 is within the total that were.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And the second question, the answer to your second question is that this is currently an ancillary space to the concert venue and the concert hall. They're not modifying this to be a rental hall at this time. So the expansion area is to be used with the venue and the activities of the venue, and not necessarily rented out separately at this time.
So there's no private parties that would be held outside of the entertainment venue, is what you're saying?
The current conditional use permit does not encompass that approval.
Okay. And the applicant agrees with that at this point?
We discussed this with the applicant before. They would need to come back at a later point in time if they determine that to be their business model, is to include this facility as some sort of rental hall or have part of the facility of rental type use.
Can the applicant agree with that at this point in time, not you, Min?
They didn't apply for it, but yes, if the applicant.
I mean,
please answer.
can we have the applicant answer that question, that point, rather than you?
So I think that with that particular space there, it's not intended to be any kind of standalone space. It is there to for the groups that are attending the concert. Are you asking us, I mean, would we not be allowed to, if I was going to the concert and Steve Rawlings wanted to have a little private party out there, but we're not exceeding the occupancy, right now that's not programmed into it, but.
I'm just asking, I'm asking the question to say, if there's no entertainment venue in the hall, can somebody rent the facility as a private party and not, and basically have an event in the outdoor area that's being talked about right now?
That area will only be used for concert patrons.
Okay.
Who are coming to a show.
So there's no private parties, no intention of private parties or anything of that nature?
It is intended for ticketed patrons who are coming to our concerts.
That's perfect. That answers my question. Thank you. Okay. Are there any other questions at this point in time of the applicant that we might have at this moment? Okay, hearing none. Madam Secretary, do we have any people from the public that would like to comment at this point in time?
If you'd like to comment on this item, please press the hand icon, or if you're calling in, *9. We'll wait 30 seconds, and Chair, I will alert you when the 30 seconds is up. $15 more seconds. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Would the applicant at this point in time have any final comments that they would like to make? Steve?
You know, I just have one point of clarification. Our intention was that this was going to be an amendment to the existing CUP, so that the conditions in the old CUP and our ability to operate it as a concert hall are still intact, and that this is just an addition to that. And I mean, that's a little bit more of a technical question to you and Pedro, just to make sure that we understand that this is not replacing, it's an add-on to the existing conditional use permit.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. I'm not sure if you caught the conversation earlier during the earlier presentation, but there is a condition of approval that captures all of what 1994-16 allowed in 1994. So there is no change to what is allowed currently. For internal purposes, this is kind of a cleanup method of processing the conditional use permit. So although there will be a new conditional use permit number assigned to it, and that conditional use permit is expanding on what the 1994 conditional use permit allowed, there is no change to the operations. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, that's clear. Thank you very much.
Okay. There's no final comments, so no more remarks at this point in time. The public hearing is now closed, and we'll bring it back to the commission for any final questions and proposed approval. I'll just start with Commissioner Alderetti. Do you have any comments or concerns?
No, I do not.
Commissioner Balfan.
No comment at this time. Quite thorough.
Commissioner Calderon.
None.
Commissioner Morrissey.
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Ramos.
No comment. Thank you.
Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
None.
Okay, I don't have anything at this point in time. Is there anyone that would like to make a motion on this matter?
I'll make a motion as so moved.
Okay, Cynthia Contreras-Leo has made the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Miguel. All right. Since there were no comments before, at this point in time, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, roll call vote. Commissioner Alderetti.
Yes.
Commissioner Calderon.
Aye.
Commissioner Morrissey.
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos.
Aye.
Commissioner Pham.
Aye.
Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
Aye.
And Chair McLaughlin.
Aye.
Motion passes by unanimous consent.
Okay, thank you very much for your support, and thank you for the presentation from Live Nation. Good luck with everything. We hope you'll be up and running soon.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay, this concludes our public hearings for tonight. We're going to move on to the business calendar. We have one item on the business calendar, and that is to elect a representative to the Historic Resource Commission for a partial term through expiring in July 2021. We have a full commission here. Is there anybody who would like to make a motion at this point in time?
I'd like to make a motion to elect Chair McLaughlin as the representative for the Planning Commission to serve in the Historic Resources Commission. Did I say that right?
Okay. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other nominees at this point in time? Madam Secretary, can we do a roll call vote?
Yes, roll call vote to elect Chair McLaughlin to the Historic Resources Commission. Commissioner Alderetti.
Yes.
Commissioner Calderon.
Aye.
Commissioner Morrissey.
Aye.
Commissioner Pham.
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos.
Aye.
Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
Aye.
And Chair McLaughlin.
Aye.
Motion passes by unanimous consent.
Thank you to the other commissioners. I appreciate the vote of confidence on that. We'll move on we'll close the business calendar at this point in time, and we'll move on to final staff comments. Min, do you have any staff comments that you'd like to make?
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations on the nomination for the HRC. I also want to welcome back Commissioner Aldereti. Looking forward to working with you and the full commission. At the last meeting, I did mention that there's upcoming League of City Planning Commission Academy. I've already spoken to Commissioner Aldereti. I just want to give everyone a quick reminder that we do have space for everyone on the commission to attend. I would highly encourage all the new commissioners to attend, as well as our existing commissioner, because at the training, you'll have an opportunity to be refreshed or be introduced to AB 1234, which is an ethics training, as well as discussion on Brown Act issue and other planning commission. So it's a really good primer to being on the planning commission. So I highly encourage everyone to sign up. That is going to be in late March. I believe that's the week of the 25th of March, and Sarah will get the information out to you. And last and not least, the staff will be requesting for an adjournment of this meeting to 3/22/21 and not to the first meeting, which is 3/4, I think. So I'm sorry, to March. Which day is it? 22nd?
3/8 is
Yes, March 3.
Yes. 3/8 instead of 3/22 instead of 3/8.
Correct. Okay. Any other comments? Min?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other staff comments? Ali, anybody?
None, Chairman. It's just great to see a full commission again, and looking forward to everything we'll accomplish together in 2021 as a full body.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that comment. Okay. Commissioner Aldereti, we'll let you go.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. It was a good discussion tonight. I'm happy to return to the Planning Commission, and I look forward to working with all of you in tackling some of the serious issues facing the city, like housing affordability and economic development that benefits all Santa Anans. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Aldereti. Commissioner Balfan.
Yep, thank you. It was a great meeting. I just have a quick question in regards to while we're discussing the different CUPs. I know that we also discussed kind of certain conditions in terms of parking as for the Live Nation application. Are these things recorded, kind of like the condition to make sure that the parking count doesn't change even with the addition of the patio use? Is this something that we should mention during our motion, or is it just automatically recorded as a condition later on?
Ben?
Thank you for the reminder. That will be added as a condition to the report as mentioned previously. It's understood that it was a part of the motion as that was addressing the commission's concern. So the resolution coming back to you will have that additional language for refinement. With the refinement.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if it needed to be kind of verbally added on to the motion, or if it was discussed during the discussion period, then it would be automatically recorded.
You're correct, and in the future, I think we need to provide clarity to that. So, but yes, I think that it was understood that was going to be as part of the approval. But I think for the future, we should have clarity, as sometime we do have different commissioners with different thinking on conditions.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's a good question.
Anything else, Commissioner Balfan?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Calderon.
Sure, great meeting, great discussion. It was nice seeing everyone today. I'm hoping that all of our meetings are like this, that we're all here together. Just be safe and be healthy. We're almost getting through COVID season, so good things coming our way. That's all I got to say.
All right, Miguel, thank you. Commissioner Morrissey.
Just wanted to welcome Commissioner Aldereti and welcome to the Planning Commission. Great to see you. And great meeting today. Thank you, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you all next time.
Okay, Commissioner Ramos.
I just want to say thank you to all the commissioners and staff for the hard work and the time that you're investing here with us to improve our community. And I also just want to make a quick announcement that if you know anybody that is eligible for the vaccine, but that faces additional barriers such as transportation, lack of access to technology, and that may not be able to navigate the Athena app, please contact Latino Health Access. They do have a call center that is providing direct assistance to make vaccine appointments, and they can also provide transportation support. So the number for that call center is 714-835-7838, and it's open every single day from 7 a.m. to 8. Thank you.
Great, that's good information, Commissioner Ramos. Do you have any other comments?
That's going to be it for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Contreras-Leo.
Thank you. First, I'm a little behind 8 ball here. I want to first welcome all the new commissioners that I've joined the Planning Commission. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it, but I was working at the Disney COVID site for the county. And secondly, I want to welcome back our colleague Alderetti. Happy to see you back and looking forward to working with everyone. That's all.
Thank you, Vice Chair Contreras-Leo. Again, thank you to the commissioners for the nomination to the HRC. I appreciate that very much. Secondly, I just wanted to welcome Eric. Welcome back, Eric. Sounds like welcome back, Cotter, but it's okay. But good to see you back on the team. And also, I wanted to mention that after the last meeting, I had spoken with Min, and what we did was we expanded the PowerPoint presentations that you saw this evening versus what we had at the last meeting. The last meeting, we had like an opening statement, and then we had, approve this CUP or approve this particular action. So I asked that we do a little more information as a PowerPoint presentation, just so that we can go through and raise questions. I think it worked very well this time. If you have any comments, feel free to, contact me, and we can improve on that. If you'd like to have that, if we can contact staff, we can do whatever needs to be done to improve that process. But I want to make sure we have enough information presented at our meetings to make it clear as to what we're trying to achieve as far as a commission. With that, I have no further comments. I appreciate the fact that we do have a full group at this point in time. It's very good to see that. And we will adjourn this meeting. We will not have a meeting on the 8th of March, but we will adjourn this meeting to March 22nd at 5:30. Thank you very much, and everybody have a safe and good evening.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Everyone. Good night.
Good night.